Welcome to Ninerology. I'm your host, Alan, and we are ready to talk all things wildcard and divisional playoffs. We're here Monday night, and the Eagles have just been booted from the playoffs in the very first round. Talk about the Niners having a much easier path to the Super Bowl. Now, nothing's given in the NFL. We saw that with several teams expecting to win. You look at the Cowboys, got that early exit. The Packers really taking it to them and showing the frauds that they really are. You look at the Eagles just getting kicked in the teeth by the Bucks, a Bucks team by the way that didn't even know if they're going to make the playoffs in the last week of the regular season. Ended up taking care of business and just controlling the line of scrimmage. You look at the tush push was stopped at the goal line, and so the question has to be asked: is Nick Sirianni going to have a job tomorrow? Who knows? A team coming off a Super Bowl loss, probably one of the better Super Bowls that we've seen, only to come up and lay an egg during the wild card round. So who knows what's going to happen? It just seems like the 49ers exposed them after the Eagles were 10-1. They got exposed and never recovered since then. And so here we are. We know the matchups. The matchups for the divisional round, you have the Texans at the Ravens. That's going to be at 1:30 on ESPN and ABC. You got the Packers at the 49ers at that primetime slot at 5 o'clock on Fox. Then on Sunday, you have the Bucks at the Lions. That's going to be at 12, and Chiefs at the Bills at 3:30. And so here we are. We're at the final 8 teams, 4-4. Let's see what's going to happen. And so I just want to break down really quick the Packers and the 49ers that are playing. Let's talk about the Packers. Talking about the youngest team in the NFL showed up. The stage was not too big for them, and they took it to the Cowboys. So Niners, we got to be ready. We got to be ready for that. And I think the bye week came at just the right time because the 49ers are going to need to be rested. And I think they haven't played a meaningful game in the past 3 weeks because we know the Week 18 game didn't matter. They had already secured the number 1 seed already. And so you got a few guys that got in some work, but they haven't had a meaningful game since then. But I do believe the rest is going to do them well. You look at the last couple years, Nick Bosa has gotten tired in the playoffs. Again, this is not a young 49ers team. I believe it's the 4th oldest team in the NFL, but we got a lot of savvy veterans, and securing that number 1 seed was the most important thing. So what we want to do, we want to break down a few things. We already know the injury of losing Clelin Ferrell, what that means to the defensive line. I think he's been kind of one of the unsung heroes. He was an off-season signing, initially with the Raiders, made the transition to the 49ers because he didn't pan out there, but he has just been a cog on that defensive end spot. A great pass rusher. You're not going to see that in the numbers, but I think where he's most valuable is really setting that edge in our run blocking. But he's not going to be playing this week, so we're going to see the effects of that. But Eric Armstead is back, and I think that is a huge boost to that defensive line. And the reason why that's so important is Aaron Jones. That's right. Aaron Jones is what makes the Green Bay Packers offense go. Now, we can talk about Jordan Love, who has been phenomenal. There have been questions, is he going to be able to replace Aaron Rodgers for the Packers? And by all indication, he has. He took it to the Cowboys and exposed them. It seems like anything that Dan Quinn threw at him, Jordan Love was able to figure out. So, Steve Wilkes, can you do that? Can you set up your defense for success against Jordan Love? And I think the first thing to do is you have to stop Aaron Jones. And let's look at the why. Every time he's had over 100 yards rushing, you look at during their win streak, they were undefeated. They were 5-0 when he was 100 yards or more. When he didn't get 100 yards, the Packers were 3-5. So stopping that starts right at the D line. And I think not having Clelin Ferrell, that's gonna hurt a little bit, but getting Eric Armstead back is an even bigger impact. And now that Sebastian Joseph Day has a few more weeks under his belt, he's been able to get things under more of the system down under the bye. I think it's going to help out because what that does is now you have some flexibility. Chase Young's going to be tasked more with setting that edge with Ferrell out. But also, to keep guys fresh, you might move Armstead to the edge on a few different plays that are obvious run plays while having Sebastian Joseph Day as well as Javon Hargrave in the middle and Bosa on the outside. So I think it's going to be a good plus getting Eric Armstead back. I know he's probably not going to be 100%, but it's playoff time, baby. He's got to go ahead and earn those bucks and really help the Niners get to the next round, the conference championship. So again, it's been 3 weeks. They should be flying around. They've been well rested. Now, we just want to look at a few different stats You have the Packers defense, 17th overall defense. So I think there's some opportunities there. When you break that down, they have the 9th ranked pass defense. But this is the kicker here. It's the rush defense. Their rush defense is 28th overall. That means there's going to be some opportunities because the 49ers have the number 2 overall rushing offense in the NFL. So I think having the offensive line getting their legs rested, having Christian McCaffrey getting back to healthy. He did not play week 18, so it's been a few weeks for him so he can get that calf healed up. I think this is going to be a huge game for McCaffrey. Elijah Mitchell, I think he's going to get a couple meaningful series. He's looked well. And so I think the big thing is we got to rely on that run game. Kyle, don't overthink it. Don't outsmart yourself. I know we've had 3 weeks to prepare. Stick to that run game. Stick to that left side. We know that the Packers are vulnerable to the run. Control the clock. You have the crowd. You have the home field advantage. They're coming off of 6 days, a short week, and they have to travel. Use that to your advantage. Really control that line, control the scrimmage line, and then this is going to be a victory. Again, it's not going to be easy. Jordan Love, one of the things that's been a headache for the 49ers defense is mobile quarterbacks. You go all the way back to Russell Wilson just owning the 49ers since 2014. It's just been unfair, but it seems like since Steve Wilkes has come in, the 49ers have done a little bit better, not a complete about face, but a little bit better against mobile quarterbacks. This is going to be a true test because Jordan Love has the ability to extend plays and really get those guys open. That means the back end, you got to continue to stay on your guys. Defensive line, don't rush past Jordan Love. Keep that lane integrity. Don't rush past him. Stop there and level out. And you'll see we'll get some sacks, and we're going to go ahead and put them in some rough positions. Now, when you look at the rest of the NFC, I think it works out really well for the 49ers. They've already taken it to the Bucs. The Lions, We'll see what happens. Jared Goff looked phenomenal. I think he was playing with an extra chip on his shoulder because he was playing against the Rams. But they did the 49ers a favor. We always know that the Rams and 49ers, when they play, it's always a battle. And so, that went down to the wire. So they took care of that. The Cowboys have been taken care of by the Packers. You also take a look. The Eagles have been taken care of the Bucs. So I think the stars are beginning to align for the 49ers. But you cannot look ahead. Cannot look ahead to the conference championship. You got to take care of business this Saturday in Santa Clara. And I think everything's set up for that. Guys are getting back healthy. The offense is being put in. We got 2 practices that were in last week. And so we got to go ahead and slow down and take a look and see, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves like the Cowboys. The Cowboys were already looking ahead saying, oh, when are we going to play the Niners? They didn't take care of business. Don't be the Cowboys. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So winners, 49ers, you're winners. Continue to focus on winning and do those things. And you're going to find out it's going to be really well. Now, let's talk about coaching. There's a lot of coaching vacancies, and I think the Eagles are going to be one of those that are coming up. I think the Cowboys are. It looks like today Jim Harbaugh got done, wrapped up interviewing for the Chargers position. But I think, honestly, the Cowboys are going to probably come calling. They're going to come calling because why not? Jim Harbaugh, he has already won everywhere he's been, whether it was in college, back to the NFL, then back to college again. The question is, will Jerry Jones give the keys to Jim Harbaugh, or will he be over him? I think if Jim Harbaugh is open to that, he's going to want to say, I need the keys to this. I need to run it the way I want to run it. You can't be hovering over my shoulders. And I don't know if Jerry can do that. So I think that the Chargers are a very realistic possibility because they have a quarterback. But also, I can see Jim Harbaugh going with Dallas and saying, you know what? I can turn Trey into something. I can turn Trey Lance into something. Let's get rid of Dak, see what we can get for Dak, and then turn this team into a Super Bowl winning team. And as a 49er fan, you hate to see it. Hopefully he goes to the Chargers. Let him go to an AFC team. You don't want to see him go to Dallas or even Seattle. You don't want that either. So we'll see what happens. That's a big one. We'll see where Belichick goes. He just interviewed with Atlanta. So there's going to be a lot of moving parts. Wilkes has had a couple of interviews as well. So he could be gone. And the 49ers could be in a position to hire a new defensive coordinator. So we'll see what happens. But we are super excited for this weekend, the divisional round. And that's all we have for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on